I'm chatting with Matt Buechele, a New York-based creative whose work spans comedy, songwriting, and TV writing. He's written for The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Netflix, and Comedy Central. You've also probably seen his Instagram videos where his observational monologues and playful sketches have reached millions of people online. His musical alter ego, Booshell, creates nostalgic, retro-inspired songs full of playful storytelling and emotion. In this episode, we're digging into his creative process, how he comes up with ideas, writes lyrics that stick, and turns little sparks of inspiration into full songs. In this episode, we talk through Matt's most recent single, Queen of New York, a coming-of-age ballad that touches on a variety of concepts and feelings invoked by living in a city like New York. So, creative journey, kind of where did you start? I think what's cool about you is you're kind of like multidisciplinary. So I'm interested to know like what you picked up first, like when you were a kid
Oh,
or
sure.
whenever you started getting creative.
Yeah, I think the first thing I got into was music for sure. Um, I think I always had an underdeveloped sense of humor, like I like being silly, but like I don't, it was just boy silly, it wasn't like, oh, I'm writing jokes in fifth grade. But my parents got me a guitar when I was in sixth grade, I think. And I started taking lessons, started learning how to play music, started playing like all my favorite Green Day songs and Blink-182 songs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that was my bread and butter. We had a little basement and I would go down there and plug in my practice amp and download guitar tabs off the internet and play like What's My Age Again and stuff. That was the first moment. If I had to guess, that would be the beginning of the creative journey because I think, you start playing those riffs and you start thinking, well, what if I did my own riff? Or what if this chord came after that chord instead? And suddenly you're like, you're not writing beautiful music, but you're writing music and you're trying stuff. And
Yeah, experimenting.
yeah, totally. Totally.
That's cool. So Blink 182, like, did you kind of develop your musical inspo, or was anyone in your family like musically inclined, or was it just kind of your thing?
Yeah, I had an older brother who was in band and he played saxophone. And I didn't want to play saxophone, but I was like around music. I didn't want to join the band because I was so dead set on playing guitar. I really just wanted to
Yeah.
play guitar, and they didn't have that at my school. And my parents, we always grew up like listening to music. Like they had like a lot of like classics. Like I remember they had like an Eric Clapton CD they played a lot. Rod Stewart, just a lot of like weird old kind of classic rock stuff that I grew up listening to. But then I became really obsessed with like TRL on MTV.
Yeah.
And that became, I don't know how old you are, but like that was a big part of my like childhood. It was like getting dropped off at the bus stop and like running back to my house to make sure I got home in time to see the top 10 videos. Cause like there wasn't really you couldn't just like look up music back then. So it was really exciting.
Yeah.
If like, the All the Small Things music video was in the top 10, I was like, this might be my only like easy chance to see this video and listen to this song again. So I like, yeah, that was
so
formative.
funny.
That was very formative. A lot of pop music for me.
Yeah. Did you listen to the radio a lot?
All the time driving around with like my family. Yeah, there was always, but it was always like classic rock. Sometimes we'd play like the modern station, but it was a lot of like classic rock, Motown, like the oldies stations growing up in the minivan going to like soccer practice.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like if a song that I really liked, I was like, "Oh, I hope it's in the top 10 so I could
Yeah.
have a chance to hear it every hour." Like
That's
and then like when the internet was like getting more popular, it was like go to AOL and it's like, "Oh, what's on the homepage?"
Yeah, we were so hungry for music, and there was only like two ways to get it. It was like the radio, or you had to go buy a CD or a cassette, and like it was. I don't know. I remember when like people started getting Napster and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like this weird like school secret where people would be like, "Dude, you got to get Napster. This is how you download it." Like I remember kids like on the bus like explaining how to install Napster.
Yeah.
family computers. I'm like downloading Napster and I'm downloading like, like weird ska music and stuff in the middle of the night, like
Yeah.
trying to get my fix. I was like, what are these wacky songs? And like it was a fun time of discovery. But the through line, I guess, it was that like I tended to gravitate towards like guitar, like distortion, and Blink 182 was definitely like the thing that made me want to get into music. Like I was like, I want to be that. I want to be the guy playing the power chords and like singing silly songs.
Yeah. And like from there, did you perform with music or how did it kind of evolve from that starting point?
Yeah, I performed. I was kind of. I'm trying to think. The next couple of years, I was like learning more. I started writing songs probably in like eighth grade, ninth grade, and then I was that kid who I got an acoustic guitar, and then I would like. There was a coffee shop in my town that has since burned down and been replaced with something, but back yeah, I know it's sad, but back then that was like the place. It was called Beechers, and they had like gelato and like coffee, and we would go there. And I don't know how. I was thinking about this recently. I don't know how they let us do this, but we just went and like played shows there all the time. Like I probably played there once a month. It was like all friends would come out, it was like real fun. And like we'd have like our three different acts. It'd be like me or like my friend's small band or like another duo. And we basically did it all ourselves. And when I think back to it, I'm like, I don't understand how we were allowed to do that or who was in charge, but we basically like took over the coffee shop once a month. And that was like the first time I ever like performed beyond like, the bonfire in the backyard or something.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It got me into like understanding like, oh, you could like do this maybe. You could like play live or you could like be in front of a crowd and you're not, I was probably terrified back then, but like it's like that first thing you do where you're like, oh, this is cool and I like how this feels. And it's great.
Yeah. That's so cool. Yeah, I'm sure the coffee shop owner was like, if I could get people to come to the shop and they're already wanting to do it, like might as well, and like they're taking the initiative. Like I think now, like so many times it's like if someone just wants to take the initiative, you're doing more than most at this point. So
Totally.
go
Totally.
for it.
Yeah, I think about that too. Like, I don't know if I would have done that if I was raised like right now. You know what I mean? It was like
Mhm.
there's so many more ways to entertain yourself as like a 16-year-old now, like just with
Yeah.
phones and different video games and there's so much more connectivity. And I think back then it's like none of us had smartphones and we were like, hey, should we do a beachers? Should we do a beachers next month? And we're like, yeah, dude, let's do it. It's just like it was very DIY. Uh and I think it was like out of necessity, out of like boredom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get our friends to come, and even if we suck, it's like I don't know. It was dope of that owner though to let us do that because I don't know how often kids like that are starting shows and doing things like that anymore. But
Yeah, because now you could just go on TikTok and hit stream
totally.
and maybe reach a few thousand people versus and not have to have stage fright.
Yeah, and I'm not
No.
saying one's necessarily better than the other. I don't
No,
know.
no,
Yeah.
no.
For sure, but it just seems like an easier, like less barrier to entry of just having it right here instead of being like, okay, I need to organize all these things. But I mean, then the opposite is like having the connectivity with your audience of like, I see you, you see me. We have this real engaging experience together. So that's cool that you guys like wanted to dive into that at a young age.
Yeah, I don't think we realized like how great it was either. It's just like something to do. It's like going to like a after school event type thing, and I'm like, yeah, it's something I don't do as much as I used to, the live performances, and I'm like, there's something so fun. So I vividly remember driving to that coffee shop, to Beechers, in a Subaru Legacy hatchback with my acoustic guitar in the back, thinking like, I'm on my way to the fucking gig. Like I remember feeling like so cool, and I was like, and I was gonna do like a Jack Johnson cover, like it wasn't
Mhm.
anything like amazing, but it was so like I can't believe I'm in the family car and I'm driving to go to my show I got booked tonight. No one was making any money, but it felt very cool. It felt very like, yeah, this is my biopic of me as a rock star or something.
That's too funny. So you used to do a lot of performances or like what kind of happened after that? Like how did things evolve?
Yeah, I graduated high school. I went to college in Nashville. I went to Belmont University.
Oh, okay. I went to Lipscomb.
Oh,
So
no
right down the
way.
road.
That's
Yeah.
down Belmont Boulevard.
Yeah, Battle of the
Yeah,
Boulevard.
exactly. Oh my god, that's so funny. Lipscomb. Yeah, that's a great school. Yeah, I know exactly where you are. But yeah, I went to Belmont. I was exposed to like comedy for the first time, like live comedy. 'Cause I didn't really have I grew up in like a small town north of Pittsburgh. And so there was like stuff, like I don't know.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm from Allentown.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm on the other side. But yeah.
You're
Uh,
like, Gotta get out of
Yeah, it
PA."
wasn't like a gotta get out of PA, but there was a little bit of like, I gotta go, like, there's gotta be something bigger that I gotta try to do, or it always felt a little like I had totally fine childhood, nothing wrong with my school, but like I do remember having this feeling of like, what if I go somewhere completely different? So I went to Tennessee and I studied music business there, and I got involved in the sketch comedy group there. And it was a big thing at my school because most people went to Belmont for like music or something music related. And so the comedy thing was really fun because it was like this kind of felt a little punk rock. It felt like we're like the 10 kids that are doing something funny. And the show was a huge production. And I met a lot of really, really funny, talented people. And they were all like, what if one of us got on SNL? Or what if we all moved to New York? Or what if we all moved to LA? And it was like the first time in my adult life where I was like, oh, like these people are maybe trying to make it as professional, funny people, where I didn't realize that was like quite something I had in my radar. But that was when I definitely became like sort of obsessive and I started making more sketches with my friends and stuff with them. And even when I went back to Pittsburgh for that first summer, I was making like little digital shorts with my high school friends, and I just wanted to write and make a lot of stuff at that point.
That's fun. So, what do you say is like the main thing that you're doing now? You're like, I'm trying to figure that out
It's a
myself.
great question. Yeah, I'm way too far along in my life to not have a great answer to that. But it is sort of like I just like I like making things, and I was talking about it with my friend earlier today, who I was working with. I like to make authentic things, whether it's in songwriting or in comedy. I like to make like true observations that are relatable, that people can enjoy, and if that takes the form of a video I post on TikTok, or if that takes the form of a song or a play I write or something. I'm kind of just like I have like pie in the sky dreams, but for the most part, I just sort of I try to keep my what's the phrase, like your finger in a lot of different pots. Is that feels wrong? But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
try to like have keep doors open because there's a lot of things I enjoy doing, and the best feeling is when you can like do a comedy bit that's also like a funny song, like combine the things you enjoy and get something great. I'm trying to do a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when you have different skills and different interests, sometimes you feel like, oh, I gotta pick one, or I have to like, you know, focus on one. And so I'm not just kind of like spreading myself and just being like mediocre. But I think if you have all of those interests and you can incorporate them together, then it makes you kind of more unique and, it's more authentic to you and what you really want to be doing, which I think always ends up shining through in the end result.
Yeah, no, totally. It's rare, but if you can figure out something that's like feels like you're hitting all your talents, it's like not a it's like what you were describing earlier, like you wrapped a good interview and you're just like so pumped. It's like it's that feeling of like when you know you're doing like high quality work and you're living up to what you think is your potential, that's a good feeling. Where you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I really delivered on this thing that I thought I could do. And it's sometimes, yeah, sometimes it takes the form of me like writing a 1 minute bit that just lives for social media, but sometimes it is like a it's performance of a song or something. It just depends on who wants to book me, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So you just put out a song, so maybe we can go through a little bit of like your process of how you went about the songwriting.
That'd be
Like,
great.
do you start with the writing? Do you think of a melody? Like, I know everyone's kind of different, so like, what's your vibe?
Yeah, so the song is called Queen of New York. I sat on it for a little. The first thing that came to me was the chorus. I'm always like melody and like chords first. That's sort of where I go. Lyrics I tend to have more trouble with, but sometimes like a phrase will jump out at me or something, and I'll have that kind of in the pocket for myself. But yeah, it's usually just I spend a lot of time playing piano and just kind of noodling. and sometimes a little melody will come out. And for me, the tough thing is I'm trying to decide like, is this an interesting song that's worth continuing, or is this like a 40-second throwaway comedy thing? You just come up with a funny hook and just post it. There's too many like outlets now, so I'm always like
Yeah.
struggling to decide like, is this your masterpiece? Do you sit down and like record this with an orchestra, or do you just like, like fart it out on the piano, just be done with it in 2 seconds? And you're like, I don't know. So I sat on this one for a long time because I liked the chorus a lot, and I was like, there's something catchy about this. And I wrote like a bunch of different verses. I knew I wanted to do something about like growing, like getting older in New York and not being old, but feeling like you maybe missed something that you should have done already. And it kind of came quickly because I think it's something a lot of people my age deal with, especially when you live in a big city. And uh, it was just a matter of kind of whittling down my favorite little couplets and putting it all together.
Yeah. Um, no, that's cool. So then from there, like, I guess at what point were you like, okay, this is worthy of doing a full song? Like, was there a moment where it was like between bit and actually a song that you'd release?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think what it was, you know what it is. The most times with music for me is like sometimes I'll screw around at the piano for like a half hour and I'll like have some funny things. I'll record a voice memo, and then like the next day I'll wake up and a good litmus test is like I'll look at the voice memo and be like, what the fuck? What, like before I even hit play, I'm like, what is, like I don't even remember what I was playing, and then I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's probably not one that sticks with you. But this one I like thought about it the next day, and I thought about it the next day, and then I like tracked a very basic version of it, and I like wanted to listen to it while I walked around the city. I was like, I want to like hear this because I think there's something to it. And that's something I'll do too a lot is I'll record a very basic version of the song with like me playing piano, and then I'll sing over it, but I'll sing kind of like, like I'll do like a mumbly kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
I'll walk around and just play it on loop and try to type into my phone like new little ideas and rhymes that come to me. So it was, I would say it was relatively quick. Like it didn't take me too long to finish this one, but I did sit on it for a while because I was sort of like, I want to get it right, or at least get it to a place where I felt like it's not going to get much better. You have to put an end to this and send it out to the world. But yeah.
No, I love that. That's so cool. Like that's part of your process. Cause I walk like a ton as well. We used to live in like downtown Nashville. So I just like, walk around and just kind of like have the music going and just be like, thinking about different things and like how the song kind of gives your lens like a certain feel when you're walking around. Like, am I feeling dreamy? Am I feeling more like optimistic? So I think that's really cool, especially since this song is about where you were walking around. So, like, what inspired the message is how you kind of developed it and, like, thought about it further. How long do you would say, like you said, you sat on it a long time? What's a long time?
That's a great question. If you can give me a second here. I'm kind of curious. I'm going to look in my voice memos. I have a voice memo from August. This is insane. Okay, now I feel like sick. I have a voice memo from August 20th, 2024 called Queen of New York.
Oh, wow.
I'm not gonna play it right now, but because you won't be able,
No.
but I'm gonna play it as soon as we get off this because I'm like, what was this? I'm sure it was just like that very basic chorus idea. I didn't, that's terrifying though. The fact that I like had this idea over a year ago and it felt, I would have guessed like maybe April,
Yeah.
last August. But holy,
That's funny. What day did you put it out? Was it August?
it came out on Tuesday this week. It came out yesterday. So it's a day out there.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
So almost a year to the day.
kind of since the first, at least the first voice memo recording of it, which is kind of crazy, but um, I can't wait to listen to that one. But yeah, no, it's exciting having it out there. I don't release as much music as I used to, and I really, really enjoy sharing like my songwriting with people. And it's a kind of like a vertical I want to get more into in the new year, like the next year or so. Of like, I just want to be writing more songs for myself, for other people, for potential musicals, something like that would be a world I'd really like to get into more.
And do you like record all of your own stuff and like produce it and everything?
Yeah. Yeah, for the most
Okay.
part. I there's a music school nearby where I live, and you can rent their piano rooms for like 20 an hour or something. And
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah, so I would go in there. Just I go in there probably like once a week just to like noodle because I don't have a real piano in my apartment, and it's fun. It's fun to play like a real instrument, and I ended up recording all the piano for Queen of New York in the school. I don't know if I'm allowed to, but I like you just bring a little tote bag and you bring a microphone and your laptop, and I just like rigged it all up and just tracked all the piano because I wanted it to feel like a real piano and not like what I'm usually using, which is just like fake keyboards, which is it's fine, but there's something about that weird, almost a little out of tune piano that kind of gives a little more weight, I think. So yeah, I recorded it all at the school, did the vocals here in my apartment. You can't see, but I got like a mic set up here, and it was mixed and mastered. I just want to shout him out by Tyler Norris, a friend of mine from Belmont. We reconnected for this, so
That's cool.
yeah, it was kind of cool. So I hired him to mix and master, and yeah, it's been out one day, and it's so good to like birth something creative and be like, let's see what happens. Like maybe people love it, maybe they don't. Whatever. It's in the world, and who knows what kind of life it can take on now that it's out there. Feels good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's cool that you still have the connections to people in Nashville. How long have you been in New York?
I've been here a little over 13 years. I moved here in 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been here quite a bit.
Hot minute. And do you feel like it has like a big impact? I mean, obviously with this song, it's had a big impact on your creative process, but was it a big change moving to New York, and like how do you think it impacts you creatively?
Yeah, huge change. Have you spent a lot of time in New York?
Yeah, my family's from Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn, but I grew up in Pennsylvania, so I was just saying I'm from PA. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I've been back and forth like a million times.
Yeah, I think it makes a huge difference. I think I loved where I grew up. I loved going to school in Tennessee, but there's an energy here. There's so much going on. You meet so many interesting people. It's sort of like nonstop influences, whether it's like a subconscious one or a very like realized one. It's just you're exposed to so many things, and I have such a great group of friends and people up here that not all of them are collaborators or co-collaborators, but they're all just like people that are how do I put it? Like they're ambitious and they're excited to be here and try to make a go of it. That takes like a certain level of like scrappiness, I think, to move here from a small town and like make a go of it. And it
Yeah, like a kindred spirit of sorts.
yeah.
Yeah, like maybe you're not doing the same thing, but energetically you're kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah, totally. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to live, but it can be difficult at times. So it's like there's something about knowing when you're walking around, you're like, yeah, we're all like out here like doing it. Like we're all trying to make it work out here because it shouldn't work. There's too many of us. The rent is too high, but we're like figuring it out somehow. It's that like that motivates me, and like I just love being around it.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely no place quite like it, so that's for sure. um, so I guess like, what are you looking forward to like in the future? Do you have anything like you're working on? Like, do you kind of like just sit on the song? Are you gonna do anything else with it, or what's kind of on the docket next for you that
Yeah,
you're excited about?
I have a few other demos that are in a similar vein to Queen of New York, like kind of largely like a piano vocal song. I'm gonna sit on it for a little before I like put the work in to finish the rest of them. But I would like to get on stage more and maybe play some of these songs, do like sort of like intimate things, not like big events, but sort of like, hey, I'm gonna do an hour at this small venue with a piano if you guys want to come and just hang. And I want to do stuff like that in the next few months. Uh, and then I'm developing a couple TV projects. I'm finishing a couple films that I'm writing this summer. Well, I guess it's not summer anymore, but there's always like some writing going on, but that is so like time will tell if anything comes of these projects. But it's like in the meantime, I try to write songs. I try to keep putting my comedy online. But there's some other things that I'm really, really hopeful for in the new year, like to get some good green lights and maybe have some more exciting news to share. But yeah,
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
thanks.
Um, well, sick. I mean, do you have any like favorite artists or creatives or Anyone you want to mention?
Uh, one person I will mention that is really inspiring, especially after yesterday, is I don't want to get her last name wrong, so let me Google it. But it's Veronica Slowakowska, I think is how you say her last name. She's a comedian. I met her like a couple years ago at a sporting event randomly, and she is so fucking funny, and she just has that thing where you like the way that she does like a lot of videos online, and she just has that like thing where she knows how to be funny on camera. She knows exactly what she looks like and sounds like on camera, which is like such a talent. And she's like a hell of a singer too, which is crazy. And she just got cast for the next season of SNL yesterday. And I saw that and I was like, wow, that's so like inspiring. Because when I met her, like she was like doing really well, but she has like exploded over the past couple of years. And it's like all well deserved because she's consistently putting out great work, which is like my number one advice I give to everyone is like, you just got to keep cranking out the work. Like, there's no other way. Like, you're not going to meet this miracle person that's going to change your life. Like, you got to just do such good work constantly. And like, I always get inspired when I see her posting, like, she's always got like something new out that I haven't seen. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, it makes me want to be writing more, sharing more of my work. And, yeah, I'm vibing off that energy right now. And I'm excited to see, like, I hope SNL, treats her well and it becomes like, because I think she's like star material. So it'll be fun to watch this season.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's super cool. I think there's so much to be said for just continuously putting yourself out there, showing up, sharing what you love, being creative, and just keep pumping it out, like you said.
Yeah, there's like, and I will say one more thing about her that's admirable that a lot of people nowadays don't do. She's not afraid to look like really stupid and weird in her videos. Like, a lot of the characters are like kind of gross and stuff. And it's like nowadays, like, I feel like everyone is so, I get this way all the time too. It's like, you just like, oh, do I look stupid in this? Or is my hair doing something weird or blah, blah, blah. It's like throwing yourself into something, just knowing like the whole point of this is to be as funny as possible is so refreshing in 2025. And I don't know. I just admire that a lot. I think it's great.
Yeah, that takes dedication for sure, especially when it's like, this will be immortalized.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think that's why it takes, I think it's why people like love it. 'Cause they're like, oh, you just don't give a shit. Like, you're just
Yeah.
funniest person on the internet, I think. Yeah, it's funny.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat, and I really like your new song, so it's cool that we can talk like right after that came out. I don't know, like, it reminds me a lot of Billy Joel. I hope you don't take
Oh,
offense to that.
none at
But
all.
just like where he does like just the piano and like something about like it being kind of like pensive. I can't think of like like almost like coming of age. Like I feel like I could like see it in like a movie montage where like the person is like in the part where they're trying to figure something out or like and like
Yeah,
trying to
no,
figure
that
themselves out. So it was super fun chatting with you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I feel like the Billy Joel thing is not insulting at all. I feel very like I think I had this like epiphany over the summer where so much of the music I've made in my life, I feel like I've been trying so hard to be like a Post Malone or something. And I'm just not Post Malone. I'm like a theater kid, I think. And so like I just wanted to do something back to basics of like, what if it is just piano? What if there was a Billy Joel that was born in 1990? I'm like, what
Yeah.
if God forbid, we like strip it down and try to do something a little, I don't know, more restrained. And I'm not trying to do too much and try to act too cool. So I appreciate that comparison and
Yeah, and I
that you're
mean
down
that in
to
the
talk
best
about
way because he's literally
No,
like
yeah.
growing up in the tri-state. Like my
Yeah.
dad loves him, always played him, and my grandfather. So like I'm a huge fan and still listen to him all the time. So when I heard that, I was just like, it just gave that vibe in the best way. So,
Um,
um, but yeah, I'm excited to see what else you put out there, and I'm really glad we were able to chat and
Same.
just kind of learn more about what you got going on.
Yeah, this was great. Thanks for having me, and it's really fun to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think just like people, consume so much content right now. But if you like take a second to be like, Well, how did this even come about? And then you like understand there's so much time and thought and intention and like every choice you make to get to that final product. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's just cool to know all the ins and outs.
Yeah, I love what you're doing. I think it's really cool, and I'm looking forward to listening to it too. I think it's like anyone that makes anything now, when there's a million ways to distract yourself, it's a miracle. It's a miracle this song got finished because it's like so easy to do like 3 minutes of work and then be like, all right, I'm gonna look at TikTok. Like it's
Yeah.
so hard to get anything done nowadays.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I got 3 minutes of productivity done. Time to reward myself with a 20-minute doom scroll.
Yeah, and then that usually turns into a 30-minute doom scroll, and then
Yeah.
you're like, what am I doing?
That was Matt Buechele, comedian, writer, and musician, sharing the stories behind his creative process on how I created this. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to rate and review the show. And if it resonated with you, share it with a friend. Be sure to subscribe to our monthly zine for exclusive content and announcements. Our artist submission is now open if you'd like to be featured next. Also, check out our merch shop's latest drop. All of this can be found on our website, dopecinema.com. Your support means the world to us, and we cannot wait to keep bringing you more inspiring stories from creatives across every genre. Until next time, bye guys.